while. I have a spinning chair. Whee! But let's get down to business. I am here today to talk to you about Loki and why I am like 99.99% sure that we are going to see Lady Loki in the next episode. That the first episode of the new Disney Plus TV show starring Loki came out on Wednesday. And can I just say, it's good. I mean, all along, this is the one that I've been looking forward to the most. It's the one that most people were looking forward to the most, right? I mean, to start out with, like, WandaVision, I was really intrigued by that, but I wasn't super excited for it like I was for this one starting out. And WandaVision turned out to be amazing. Then Falcon and the Winter Soldier was pretty good too. I mean, like, not as perfect as WandaVision, but really good. I wasn't disappointed by it. And now there is Loki. Loki being the TV show that we have looked forward to since Endgame. That's like 2 years. Over 2 years. This is the TV show about a character that so many MCU fans love and loved before the show even, was announced. Plus, especially its announcement was riding the wave of, wait, how does time travel really work in Endgame? Like, what is going on? Are there multiple timelines? Is it a multiverse? Is that an alternate timeline now? Because they say that you can't make an alternate timeline if you don't take an Infinity Stone, but this is obviously not what happened in the first Avengers movie. And you can, watch my video about that sort of stuff where I talk about the time travel and whatnot. Click the card. And this show is ready to give us the answers about time travel and multiverses and everything. And I'm sure, based on the just expectations, the love for Loki, this show has got to have had tons of work and thought gone into it, right? It's gonna be good, right? And I know there's an obvious risk of setting my expectations too high, so I don't want to do that. But, the first episode didn't disappoint me. It was great. I was engaged the whole time, all this information, taking it in, and I am ready for more. So, back to what we're talking about today. In the next episode, I'm 99.9999% sure that we're gonna see Lady Loki. And before I keep going, be warned, there will be spoilers for the first episode of Loki, as well as obviously significant theorizing and speculation that may or may not come true, so be warned. And I've gotta say, it is a little scary making a theory about something that's either gonna be proved right or wrong in less than a week. 5 days from writing it, 4 days from filming, probably a little less time from actually posting. But yeah, I'm kind of really confident on this one. Lady Loki. I know a lot of people have been throwing her name around, and for kind of a while, not just since the first episode came out, but I want to come to you with solid proof that she's gonna be in the next episode. Solid proof why she is the mysterious hooded variant of Loki that we saw at the end of the first episode. But a little background first, review of the show, in case you forgot. The whole reason why our 2012 version of Loki that stole the Tesseract in Endgame didn't get reset right away is because Mobius saw a use for him. Mobius wanted to learn more about him, get inside his head a little bit, and understand him and his motives a little bit better. Because at the end of the episode, we find out that Mobius is tracking down a particularly dangerous variant of Loki. So now our 2012 Loki is enlisted to help Mobius track down that variant. Because who knows Loki better than Loki himself? I've gotta say that the conditions under which Loki agreed to help, not very convincing.
Listen, I can't offer you salvation, but maybe I can offer you something better.
Mobius said that maybe sorta we might give you something in return. We all know that's gotta be a lie, right? They still plan on resetting Loki. The whole purpose of the TVA is to protect this sacred timeline, and this Loki, since he stole the Tesseract, doesn't have a place on it anymore. So he's gotta be reset in the end, right? Well, I mean, not in the end of the show, but that's the motive for the TVA. Who wants to bet that Loki's gonna find out that they still plan to reset him, and then he's gonna turn against the TVA? Anybody? Oh, over here. Anybody? 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 Yeah, yes, all of you. I think we all agree that's probably what's gonna happen. But for now, his only option is to go along with Mobius's plan. Hunt down this other variant of Loki and maybe get something in return. That's a better promise than being reset right now. But who is this mysterious, dangerous variant of Loki? Where or when do they originate on the timeline? And may I present you with Lady Loki. Now, Lady Loki is a popular iteration of Loki in the comics. After the event of Ragnarok, Not this Ragnarok, the Ragnarok in the comics. After Ragnarok in the comics, when all the Asgardians except for Thor died, Loki was reborn as a female, specifically into the body that was intended for Lady Sif. Lady Loki first occurred to me as a possibility in this show about a week ago when I saw all the news that MCU Loki was confirmed to be canonically gender fluid. What happened is that Loki's TVA file was shown in one of the trailers, and on it, his sex is listed as fluid. And we can confirm this with an even clearer shot of the file in the first episode. At first when I saw the news, I thought, oh, maybe they're including some gender-bent version of Loki. Like, if Disney came out and confirmed that MCU Loki is indeed gender fluid a week before the drop of the new TV show, it's gotta be relevant to the show. But then I realized that it just came from an image of his file in the show, which, while it would be really cool if they explore that in the show, doesn't necessarily mean it's a significant part of the show. Like, what if they just needed a prop that shows that the TVA has a file on him? You would expect there to be a category of sex or gender, and under that category, I'd hope they wouldn't just put male just because that's all we've seen in the MCU to date. Because it was already kind of a thing that he is gender fluid because of the comics he canonically is and has been for like 10 years. It just hadn't been confirmed in the MCU yet, and now it is. So at that point, I was like, if they include it, cool, but I wasn't like 100% expecting it. However, looking more into it, I found a few things that combined with this make me really think that the mysterious variant of Loki is Lady Loki. First of all, we have the fact that the mystery variant is wearing a hood. Now, this isn't concrete evidence for anything and doesn't point specifically to Lady Loki, but it points to the fact that the variant Loki has to be recognizably different from our main 2012 Loki. It's not just Tom Hiddleston putting on a Parent Trap Lindsay Lohan thing. And remember, by this point in the show, it has already been revealed to us that the variant is a variant of Loki. So if the figure is still only shown as a hooded silhouette, there has to be some other big reveal coming. Next, we have Sophia DiMartino and her mysterious role. On IMDb, she is credited for all except for the first episode of the Loki TV show. But her character's name is not listed. Her role still hasn't been revealed, which means that name of her character's gotta be a spoiler in some way. But that itself doesn't necessarily mean she's Lady Loki. Richard E. Grant is listed in exactly the same way. 5 episodes, no character name. Maybe he's the mystery Loki variant. Maybe there's more than one. But it's gotta at least be Sophia DiMartino. She has been noticeably absent from most of the trailers, except for one shot of her with her back turned where everyone thought she was Black Widow. Which means that even her character design is probably a spoiler. And it turns out, a few months ago, pictures from the set surfaced on the web, including one of her dressed in a costume that is eerily similar to Loki's costume in the first Avengers movie. And not only that, this is what got me convinced. We basically have confirmation from the TV show itself in the credits. So, Sophia DiMartino is not credited at all, but neither is the hooded figure. But you know who is credited? A stunt double for none other than our mystery variant. And the variant double happens to be a woman by the name of Sarah Irwin. A woman, specifically. Which points to Sophia DiMartino being the one she's doubling for. I mean, these two women don't look particularly similar from their headshots, but like face and hair color don't really matter in stunts. It's about height and body shape. And look at that! Sarah Irwin, Sophia DiMartino, about the same height and weight. The only thing that makes me doubt that the variant is Lady Loki is the fact that in the first episode, they've only been using he, him pronouns to refer to the variant. That might be there specifically to misdirect the audience, but I actually think it might be because the TVA doesn't realize that it's hunting a lady version of Loki. Like, maybe on their little tablet things, it just showed Loki's file. A file that is shown to have 2012 Loki as its picture. And maybe, like, the tablet thing doesn't show what the current iteration of Loki looks like, just that the file that it has. So yeah, I'm still pretty sure that it's gonna be Lady Loki. Just picture this. Another reveal at the end of episode 2. Loki has been working alongside Mobius, tracking down this dangerous, mysterious variant of himself. He comes to a hooded figure, back turned to him. The figure begins turning, and he expects to come face to face with a mirror image of himself. But the hood drops, and no, it's a woman. Not the Loki we're familiar with, but still Loki. It is Lady Loki. The last question I want to ask, though, is when or where on the timeline does she come from? And this is where we enter the realm of complete guesswork and speculation. But like, how can I not include my thoughts here, because wouldn't it be so cool if I was right? In the comics, Lady Loki appeared after the events of Ragnarok. We've already established the fact that Ragnarok in the comics and Ragnarok in the MCU are very different. But even though they're not the same, it can give us a starting point as to where we think like the writers might have adapted the character from the comics. So as I stated earlier, Lady Loki was born after Ragnarok when all of the Asgardians died except for Thor. Then when Thor brought them back, Loki was reborn into a female body, specifically the body that was intended for Lady Sif. So now let's think about the MCU, like similar situations, what could kind of make sense, but not be exactly the same as comics. After Ragnarok, an event that involves a lot of people dying and then subsequently being reborn, kind of? Well, to me that just sounds like the blip, you know? Dead. Reborn. So, what if Lady Loki comes from an alternate timeline where Loki wasn't killed by Thanos? Maybe he joined with Valkyrie and that other half of the Asgardians. Then the snap occurs and he dies, only to be reborn 5 years later. Wait, scratch that. He isn't snapped. Instead, he makes everyone think he was snapped, when instead it was Lady Sif. And since maybe he had another recent fallout with the Asgardians, or Thor isn't there at first to kind of like protect him and back him up, he takes Lady Sif's form in order to take charge while Bro Thor is playing his video games. Then, when Lady Sif is snapped back, he has to take another form and decides to stay as a woman instead of reverting to his original Loki form. And thus, Lady Loki is born. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and leave a comment down below of whether you think we are going to see Lady Loki in the Loki TV show. Of course, check out more of my stuff. Up top, you can see a video where I talk about the time travel in Endgame, and underneath that is my playlist of all of my Marvel videos. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe, which you can do by clicking right there. That's all for today, and I will see you next time. Bye!